All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. I want to bring something to your attention. On the 14th of September, which is about 2 days ago, is an unofficial day for Plant Your Age. And there's no one who's better placed to explain what that is than one Dr. Isaac Kalua, who's joining me now on Skype. He's the founder of Green Africa Foundation and also an environmentalist. Dr. Isaac Kalua, thank you so much for making time for us. So just so that we get on to catch us on to speed, what does Plant Your Age really mean?
Plant Your Age is a very important activity. I'd say important because of its origin and how it moves. It's a green activity. Green to me and to what I do has three meanings. The first one is treating people kindly. This is about good ethics, training on life skills. It's about values. The second, green, is working towards good health, peace within communities, and creating sustainable livelihoods. And therefore, the third, green, is the passionate environmental conservation. When Wangari Maathai passed on 25th of September 2011, I called upon Kenyans to plant 71 trees in her commemoration and her appreciation for an international award for sustainable development, matters of peace, and also democracy. And I was surprised, just the same week that she passed on, when I made this rallying call to Kenyans. Kenyans planted trees across the country. They established what was called the Wangari Maathai Green Corner. They made it so easy and passionately participated in this. And thereafter, they came back and said, okay, we have planted trees for Wangari Maathai Corner, and we feel that this is a good initiative. And therefore, it revolved to what is now the Plant Your Age initiative, and later on into a movement that has been going on after it was established by President Kibaki in 2012 on 30th of April in Kitui, where we established 80 trees for him to commemorate his birthday. And therefore, it has evolved to greater activities thereafter. So this is what it is about Plant Your Age. And maybe most important for you to remember, Trevor, this is not about just planting and growing trees. This is about replenishment. So you can put the same word, replenishment, together with the Plant Your Age, so that trees replenish themselves and they replenish our world by taking in CO2 and emitting oxygen, which we use. So that replenishment is what is represented by the Plant Your Age campaign. And therefore, it's a day and a process and an annual remembrance of what you have replenished yourself in as an individual. Matters of health, matters relationships, matters livelihoods, and spirituality.
So, Dr. Kalua, this is really a 360 approach to life. It's not just about the planting of trees, but you see, planting of trees is one thing. Growing them is a whole new scenario. How are you planning to ensure that we go the whole hog, so that we don't just plant trees and leave them there, that they're actually grown?
This is a process. And just like a tree, you know, the older a tree grows, the stronger it becomes. And this is what we really need to push, and hence this opportunity and partnership with Royal Media, so that we can be able to communicate. People just need to understand. They don't do things because they are being done. They want to do things because of why you are doing what exactly you're doing. Growing a tree, and that's why we are saying Plant Your Age, is you plant and you know which tree you're planting, not just for the sake of it. You understand what tree you're planting, why you're planting it, and therefore you have a relationship. Trees are beings, and therefore we need to be able to communicate with them and be able to deal in a way that we know that they give us oxygen. Is actually, better put, is planting oxygen, because we need that oxygen in our country. We need that in our health. So that commitment is what makes this day a special one. And it is a continuous process that will help you to be able to understand what you must be able to do. Because people, and there's an art, there are details about how a tree should be planted. And this is what we need to start understanding. And the entire replenishment of our lives, this is what we try to communicate in this process of growing the trees. Because there is planting, there is growing, and what a tree brings about to us. So it goes to the third stage of what is a tree, and about replenishment and what we must be able to do so that there is a meaning to it.
Just out of curiosity, Dr. Kalua, why now? Because people dealing with the, others would claim there's a pandemic. Why do you choose now to continue with this?
Because even the pandemic needs us to think about replenishment.
Yeah.
And allow me, Trevor, to talk about replenishment, first of all, on areas that I have presented with the Plant Your Age Day and initiative. And I have a very big team that I really appreciate behind this, because they pick this day and they have themes that are very clear. Let me pick the issue of livelihoods on its own, and allow me to talk about 3 different areas that you will be able to understand why now. And I'll take you to the situation in our country today. We have 60% of Nairobians who live in informal settlements, just as an example. And we know very well that 1 out of 5, and this is a report in 2005, 1 out of 5 Kenyans live in the urban areas. 6 out of 10 by the year 2030 will be living in the urban areas. So what are we doing on matters housing? We have, Trevor, in 1939 is when Shauri Moyo was built. 1940 is when Ziwani was built. That is 80 to 81 years. The other houses around Kaloleni and Bahati and all those places, including Jerusalem, are between 75 and about 60 years. This needs us to think about replenishment of our housing sector. And therefore, what is being done must be supported. But what are we doing as Kenyans? When the government is working about matters housing, we are the same people who are fighting the issue. We are the same one who are politicizing. We are the same one who are taking things to a corrupt practice and all that. And therefore, the project becomes impossible, even for the president or any other person to make a decision. And therefore, we need to replenish our housing. I'll take you to, and even as we do that, you can imagine 75% of our population is under the age of 35 years. Unless we deliberately, intentionally act towards this, it will be something that we will not be. It's actually a situation where it's like dogs and insects and rats that eat their own children that they have given birth to, just because of limited resources. But human beings, we do have enough resources, and therefore we can be able to replenish ourselves.
Okay.
Talk about manufacturing. Trevor, allow me to talk about manufacturing and then to one other. And I'll speak about the sector that I myself am involved in, the motorcycle sector. We are actually a riding nation. We have 900,000 Kenyans who are border riders. These are direct jobs. These 900,000 Kenyans, they do 36 rides every day, each one of them on average. And therefore, we have 32.4 million Kenyans who are riding every single day, taking a ride on a border. These people are supporting 6 people in a family. And that is 5.4 million Kenyans who are benefiting out of the border sector. And this rides to about 2.7 billion Kenya shillings that's made by Kenyans on a monthly basis, leading to 324 billion Kenya shillings. This, to me, and in the matter of replenishment, we have jobs that we are looking for. My green angle, and why I would plant a tree and to remember this, is because I want to create jobs. You can imagine how much we can be able to do. Imagine if we can move this and replenish this sector and make it even better. Currently, a motorcycle has 300 parts. All these are imported from different parts of the world, India, China, Japan, and different places. We are therefore creating jobs in those countries. Imagine if we started, like we have now started, making 7 parts locally. How many jobs? It's about 25,000 jobs that will be coming out of this. Thinking in our mind about replenishment, growing a tree that reminds you what you must be able to do for your fellow Kenyans. This is what we must be able to do things so that we can create jobs, we can advance in matters of technology transfer, and therefore you will find people who will say that this is not worth. And it's only because they need to be reminded about replenishment. Thirdly, as I finish to answer you, why now?
Yeah.
Our youth need to be replenished. We have said that we have 35 age, 75% of this in Kenya. And I'll give you very few examples. Apple, Facebook, Google, we're talking about Amazon, Microsoft, which are companies in America. The gentleman in the name of Jeff Bezos of Amazon, he was 30 years when he started this company. The other companies of that I've just talked about, like Apple employs 90,000 people, and 20,000 will be added very soon. We have Microsoft employing 85,000. We have Google employing 114,000. We have Facebook employing about 45,000. And we have Amazon, of all, which employs about 798,000 people. These are companies that have been started by 20-year-olds. But if we do not stop to think how we can replenish our youth and how we do things, we will keep politicking, we will keep thinking that jobs will come from where they will never come from. We will keep thinking that time is available. Actually, time will never go anywhere. It is us who are expiring. You can never waste time. You actually waste yourself. So replenishment and the Plant Your Age campaign reminds you why we must be able to do these things, and that is why it is now. We must replenish ourselves before it is too late. And therefore, this is the reason why Plant Your Age is coming in now. And I appreciate the way Kenyans have really taken on it. And we will keep making it known because it is a process and it can't happen in one day.
In fact, that is where I wanted to bring you in, because Dr. Kalua, you're making a very convincing argument as to why this should happen. So an ordinary Kenyan watching you this morning, like myself, I'm 33 years old. If I want to plant the 33 trees, where do I start?
Great. We have many opportunities. And first of all, we will have to say, where do you start? It is from the land that you have. Everyone comes from somewhere. Most of the people come from somewhere. We have so much idle land. Land that we can not only just plant, but also do activities that can make you green money. So it starts from where you are. We have a lot of people living in the urban areas, but we have many more people living in the rural areas. There is land that is available. There is what you can be able to do. Besides, and you see, the Plant Your Age campaign is a very personalized call. It's not about the land that is the government. It's not about forests. It's about ourselves, myself, what we're able to do, what am I going to be able to do this thing. So you can start, Trevor, from your own land, your parents' land. If there was a replenishment of relationships, we will never have the problem that we're having on land matters with our people, because people will love and understand to live harmoniously with each other because of the spirit that comes with a tree, the spirit of replenishment of the tree itself and the world. And this is the harmony that is required. And just to mention what I had not mentioned any earlier, Plant Your Age does not compete with the World Environment Day, the International Day of Forest. Instead, it adds value to this, and it is a call. You can be able to plant, and not only planting, but growing. And did you know that, Trevor, that if only you fence, just like my recommendation about Kenya's forests, The solution is very simple, and I put it in my last document when I was leaving Kenya Water Towers as the chairperson. If only we fence all our forests, we have grown trees, we have protected, we have created water. And you know, trees equals to water. You must understand, why am I doing these trees? We need water. We need to do these activities. We need to understand there is money that can be made. So plant your aid, this message very strongly, that you can actually make money out of activities that you're doing in different places. So this is definitely important. You can never lose where to plant trees equivalent to your age. That is why it's not about many numbers.
Yeah.
If you're 35 years of age, Trevor, you're 33, thank you. You have every opportunity to do what you have never done. Every tree that you plant, ensure that it grows. And between the first tree and the next tree, you must evaluate your value in replenishment. Have you replenished your health? Have you replenished your relationships? Are you doing activities just like the Americans that I've mentioned that will change people's lives? Therefore, this is what is reminded to you every 14th of September. But it's not just a plant your age day, but a process in life that we must remember again and again, that time is not with us. It is actually us who are going, and time remains. And therefore, we must be able to take it seriously.
So let's flip this a bit, Dr. Kalua, because those are very convincing arguments there. Deforestation is still a very big problem in Kenya. How then do you balance the need by the people to exploit their natural resources and save Mother Nature at the same time?
As I said, what we lack in this nation is to give Kenyans why they must be able to do what they do and what we want them to do. You don't just tell Kenyans to plant trees because they are needed for the air, because they are needed for clean air, or we need oxygen. It will take you forever. I have said it again and again. Tell a Kenyan how to conserve environment and you'll be left alone. But show them how to make money, they will go that route. If that is the way Kenyans seem to be wired, why don't we connect with them and use it as a bait so that we can be able to show people how they can pay their school fees, how they can be able to create jobs out of this? I have presented myself in my life many times how to grow tree seedlings, for instance, and I bought a Mercedes-Benz, not because I needed a Mercedes-Benz, but I wanted to communicate with Kenyans and be able to show them that you can dirty your hands and be able to make money that will get you anything. I no longer drive the Mercedes-Benz, I drive small cars and be able to do this. I have lived in all those places, including Maringo, and therefore I'm a normal Kenyan that we can be able to understand that these things are done. Every single day of my life, I live to show people that you can make it. And indeed you can. You can imagine more than 60% of Kenyans are using firewood for their household use. Trevor, when you go home, even if you try to avoid it, you'll find that your folks in shags are able to use firewood almost on a daily basis. If you show them a reason, if we create policies through replenishment that are going to make gas the cheapest product in this country, we are going to do these things. But again, it's not about the forest cover, but by the way, I believe we are already past 10%, but that is the subject of a different day. This country is able to grow trees up to 60% or even much more. I'm targeting myself about 40%, but I am talking about jobs. Kenyans need jobs. Kenyans are suffering with Corona, what pain they have gone through. We must be able to show hope. We must be able to do activities that are free with us. We are not like the dogs that will eat their own puppies.
Yeah.
We are human beings that are full of replenishment because the earth gives us everything that we can be able to apply. So it is the thinking of our minds that needs to be changed. And you are doing a great job, Trevor, by just inviting me here to speak about what is otherwise seen not to be anything much. but it is everything that we need. And therefore, if you understand that you're planting oxygen for yourself to use, you can imagine how much expensive oxygen is in the hospitals, then you will be able to understand that you must be able to grow trees, and Kenyans will take it up, surpass the expectation of everyone, because they are doing jobs at every stage in their lives as they deal with this process.
All right. Dr. Kalua, we've run out of time here, but finally, how many trees are you looking at maybe in a year, your approximate number based on what you've seen so far?
Again, I repeat, it's not about the number of years, because when you can plant trees equivalent to your age, you can plant them at different times. You can plant one annually. You can establish a Trevor Ombija corner and plant your 33 trees there and ensure that they grow. There are others who would say that I will plant 34 trees when it gets to the following year. But more importantly, this is not about number of trees, Trevor. It is about replenishment. What am I doing to change, to touch the lives of those people that we went to school with? What am I doing so that we change that, that spirit that we have, and our reconnection also with God above, because there is God who is above all, and all the holy books that are available talk about that relationship. So it is beyond the number of trees. The trees are simply a reminder. Between 14th of September 2020 and 14th of September 2021, what acts of good have I been able to do over the years? What activities have I been able to do that touch the lives of people? And this is what we must be able to do. It's an opportunity for the corporate institutions to have an opportunity to do those corporate social investments that we have been looking at. And we offer that platform. And therefore, Kenyans, once you plant or grow your tree, just share. Share this with the Green Africa Foundation and send a photo so that we make it interesting, we make it trendy, we make it a happy moment to grow trees, as opposed to what we used to do. Do you know, Trevor, as I finish, there are people who actually hate trees. They hate them with a passion. Why? Because when they were in school, they were made to plant a tree as a punishment. They dug a hole as a punishment. And maybe they didn't even do what they were told that they did. And just because maybe someone hated them. And therefore, they were made to plant a tree, to water it with a lot of pain, going for water for very far distances. And therefore, as the tree grows, they hate it with a passion.
All right.
This is the situation in our lives in many aspects in Kenya, and we must be able to change. The 35-year-old Tom Mboya was 35 when in the 60s, actually the youth were in control of their country in the best way possible. Today, there is a miss somewhere, and we must be able to replenish this. And remember, there is not us and the government. We are the government. What are we doing to change lives through Plant Your Age? So we must think green and act green. And this is what the Plant Your Age campaign calls us for replenishment.
Thank you so much for making time for us this morning, Dr. Isaac Kalua, founder, Green Africa Foundation, and also an environmentalist campaigning for Plant Your Age, which he says is not just about planting trees and the numbers. It encompasses a 360-degree angle to your life. Certainly a very important conversation we were having here, and we'll have it again very soon. So we're taking